En Estados Unidos, hablar de la prohibición de leer libros cristianos en las bibliotecas y qué hacer con ese tema y otros semejantes. La estructura de nuestro video es primero presentar
My dearest friends, at this moment, let's meditate a little bit before the class begins. Let's resting ourselves and connect ourselves with the spirit realm. So we may feel the presence of good spirits assisting us during these lessons. Let's be in silence. So the leaders of our planet making finds a positive negotiations. So our planets can be rescued from the destructions of human ignorance. May Master Jesus inspiring us, each individual on earth, to feel the needs of this planet and everything that God creates in it. May the man realizes that we cannot exist without our forests, rivers, plants, and the animal. The whole community formed the ecosystem, and each community depends on one another. Help us to find in ourselves the instinct of self-preservation, not the destruction. Let's remind ourselves, if we destroy our planets, what will happen to our children and the animals? What will happen to those yet to come? Have we thought about it? Master Jesus, you who is the governance of the planet Earth, through your actions and modest example, may you connect our divinity. May you express the most genuine in love, so we heal ourselves from the disgrace of our own envy, selfishness. May Master Jesus, our divine love, blossom into our own current incarnation, so we may preserve our lives and the lives yet to come. Master Jesus, we know that you with your divine love, patience towards humankind. May your conditional love, Master Jesus, lighting up the light inside of us, may awareness of this world comes to the surfaces of our consciousness. May we feel the generous love that you always emanates to us. May our sentiments awakening towards love and kindness may our eyes and hearts open to everything around us. May you recognize the goodness that we can be. It's still time for us to heal the world, to heal this planet. It's still time for us to regret all the evil that we haven't done in this world. It's still time to prevent the wars. It's still time for men to rescue themselves from the darkness of their own soul. May our leaders find the way to lead our countries and nations through love. May the words are the words from the past. May war no longer is part of our presence. There is no good that comes from wars. Families are separated, children are orphans, parents, elders are in desperate, homes are lost. Heavenly Father, have mercy in our men, the men that are leading our nations. May the leadership is done through love and humility. May the egotistic, selfish behavior transform its wisdom and love. May peace reassure in their minds. May peace be the true nature of their own existence or from our existences. May each individual from these planets united together in prayers and love. So may we save these planets, save from the hands of those who have lost their way. May you love one another. May we love our children with all the strength in our hearts. And remind ourselves at all times that our children need us. Have a mercy on us, God. May we stop to destroy our planets now, before it's too late. So, Master Jesus, help us to continue study the Fraternal Assistance. May we enlighten our minds and continue to dive in the studies of love and peace. May peace be in our heart tonight and always. May the words that comes from us will be the words of peace and love towards every individuals in our society, those who we love and admire, but also towards those that our sincere sentiments are not devoted to them. May our hearts open to those individuals who are felt in ignorance and primitive behaviors. May you feel compassion towards them. May the wars start now from each one of us, from our hearts. May we emanate love now and always. Help us, and so be it.
So be it.
So be it.
Thank you, Alessandra. Alessandra is at the Spirit Center tonight. She made it.
I could
you,
say
God.
all for me, but as a spiritist, we know that I'm not alone, right?
Yes, exactly. That's so wonderful. And actually, I have a very great news as well. I went to the library in Charlotte, Vermont, and we started a process to start the class one time a month over there, Introduction to Spiritism in Charlotte, Vermont.
Wow.
So we'll be
Growing.
a little sister from Long Island. Yay! And if everything works well, we're not going to pay anything at the library.
Oh,
It's going to be for free. And it's very cute little town. It's really, really beautiful. So little by little, we find a way to disseminate these beautiful teachings of God and Christ in a very humble and simple way. We start in Woodstock, but for financial reason, we were not able to continuing. But in Vermont, we will be able because the library will give us a space for free. So we not have to pay.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
Doors are being opening, right?
Yes, absolutely. So let's open. So today we're gonna talking about the fraternal assistance, and I'm gonna give a little summary. I posted in WhatsApp the classes there, and I didn't put it in iCloud because I was with other members and they share personal stories, so I don't want to put it out there in the public, but I put in our WhatsApp so we can later on check because it's the beginning of this PowerPoint. But pretty much is the classes, how the members should act at the center as a practitioner of fraternal assistance. So we're gonna starting here from the 17. The summary is about how the behavior at the center, how to deal with the attendees when they show up to the center and they find themselves disturbing, whether it's spiritually or some emotional trauma or mentally, how to guide those individuals to the proper place that should be assessed. And in case that the individuals are taking medication and be treated by the medical field from the science, we should never tell this individual to stop to take the medication and to stop the treatments. The Spiritism, the Spiritism treatments is along with the medication treatment, both working together. So we never can tell the individual to stop. And in case also the person start to give a communication while you are assisting this person, we are firm but with love and kindness. We guide the attendee that is not appropriate time to do that. And the reason we cannot accept that the person who comes to visit our center for fraternal assistance, you give a communication because you don't know this person and the other person who is receiving the service at the time also can be scared due to the person's behavior or not understanding what's going on. So, and also you don't know if the person has self-control in regard to the spirit that they give you communication. In other words, we ask them to attend the classes of mediumship, control themselves, not give a communication due to the time and moment not being appropriated, no favor for that. And all of us, the day of the fraternal assistance, should arrive a little bit early, about 15 minutes at the center. So we study the gospel according to Spiritism and read some book from Joanna D'Angeli or Emmanuel or André Luiz, Psychographical by Divaldo Franco, or Chico Xavier. Prepare yourselves how to assist others. And always reminded that at the times of the fraternal assistance, like any other service at the center, are all guided by the spirit realm. We are just a members, a tool for the spirits, enlightening spirits working with us. So always remember that we are working among the enlightened spirits. More prepared we will be, more connection, more intuition we will receive from the spirit realm. So that was pretty much the summary that we had yesterday. So we're gonna pick up on here and these slides from 17 and continue on. Hopefully we finish this today. And next week we will have the cases, some cases that may appear at the Fraternal Assistance, and how should we deal with. And many times if you needed assistance from other member at the time, we also can ask them to come and help us as well. And what else, another thing that we're learning yesterday was about okay, as I move forward, I remembered. Chris, are you like to read the 17?
Christina or Chris?
Christine.
Yeah, hang on. Let me change my name here so that it's not my government name. Okay. Okay, behavior of the counselor, 17. Don't judge others' problems as being of lesser importance, but rather give to everyone the same attention and courtesy, understanding, and fraternity. 18, recognize your own limitations and be aware that it is not expected from you to solve others' problems, but rather to enlighten them according to the Spiritist guidelines. 19, be aware that as a rule, the person who is there has already resorted to all forms of assistance and therapies, and in the majority of cases, one is waiting for magical or miraculous solutions from Spiritism. 20, talk with the assisted using simple yet appropriate words, and always be fraternal, respectful, and true, never displaying an air of pretense or superiority, and assuming that you can solve their problems. Avoid trivial conversation, sterile discussions, and political, religious, or evangelical disputes.
So in here are a few highlights that's very important at the moment that we are assisting our brothers and sisters who comes to see us. It's always important to remind ourselves that they come in a very hurt many times for whatever is the condition or the trauma or the situation. So they come in very low energy. They really need our love. Even the case they may be a little arrogant or pretentious, it still is the time that we must remind ourselves that at the moment these spirits are feeling so low about themselves, and it may be the way that they express this in order to defend themselves, because they are has been hurting for a long time, has been feeling low or sick for so long. So sometimes when you go to a long period of time of sadness and hardship, many people respond in different ways. Some people respond angrily, others respond with deep depression and many challenges that we may face. It's important for us to always remind ourselves that we are not God, we can save anybody, but we are there to offer our shoulders and our hands, so they can feel there is someone who still care about them, who still are there for them. So it's very, very important for us to remind ourselves. And also it's opportunity for us to be humble as well, meaning that if I can at this moment assist this person because that person problem or situation, it's so similar with something that I have gone in the past, therefore I'm feeling emotional, it's okay for reaching out for one of the other members in the center and say, could you please take my place? I really can't assist this person right now. So we always have to remind ourselves that we are practitioners, that we are volunteering, that we are not professionals, counselors, or therapists. Therefore, you cannot give any suggestions or tell people what they should do. We are there just for hearing with our hearts, just to listen to them, and the best of our abilities, look at them eyes to eyes in most sincerity way, so they can feel safe, they can feel belong, if they understand that they are in Jesus Christ's home. Make sense?
Yes.
All right, okay. Behavior of the counselor. Maintain yourself in neutral position regarding sentimental problems due to the delicacy of the subject. However, you can recommend the patients to trust God, to listen to one's heart, to seek for peace, harmony, and concord, to maintain mental discipline, and to seek inspiration in prayer. Of course, we cannot tell the person what they should not do, but we certainly can recommend to this person to pray, to do prayers, to connect themselves with God. And another thing that you cannot do at all is at the time when the people shares their problem, then we say, you know, I also went through this. That what I did. At this moment, it's not about us. This moment is about of the person who are there looking for help. Do not promise any cure. We don't have the ability to cure anybody. The only one who does is God. And if that's the willing, certainly it will happen through God's willingness. Do not send or direct people for mediumship meeting. That's never, 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 never. People who comes to the mediumship fraternal assistance, many times they are very, very imbalanced. So they may have great intentions and would like to come to the mediumship meeting, but they not prepared or ready for. So they need to take a classes. So when I even mention a mediumship meeting for that reason, we just recommend the person to continue to come to the studies of the center, not necessarily to the studies of mediumship, because the person can even feel disturbing by the classes. It's very important that the person starts very slow, very light, and the best way is learning the tools how to improve and transform their inner their behavior. So they transform themselves for a better beings. Do not criticize any religion or affiliation or belief. Always remind ourselves that we're not better than anyone, and every religions are important for each person who goes there. We are not there to criticize anybody. We are there to have the best, put our best behavior, even though if you dislike some religion for personal reason, that is not moment to share our thoughts. We just listen. That moment is a moment for us to lend our hands for those friends in need. It's the moment for us being the one who assists those who are sick emotionally or mentally. We are there to be a brothers and sisters of the ones need the most. Motivate the attendees to make effort towards self-healing and self-assistance, eradicating themselves and loving ourselves. So at this moment, when a person are going through deception, going through a very challenging times, it's a moment that many of them loses the hope on ourselves and losing the hope on others. It's a moment to reinforce to them self-esteem, the importance of self-healing. They are the only one who can do something for themselves. We may be a help hand, but the true efforts need to come from them. We will say some words in a very calm way so the person does not feel hurt by the way we speak, by the truth of our words. Always be kind and reminded that some point in our lives, we also were down and wish that someone could be there to help us. In some points in our life, we were down and there was someone who called us, who present themselves to one way or another to help us during the challenging times. It's very, very important for us to remind ourselves that we are an instrument of love at the moment. We put our ego, ourselves aside and make this brother and sister a priority at this moment. So, Ale, you'd like to read 31?
Yes. Guide the assistant whenever possible to receive passes in magnetized water, to pray, to read uplifting material, and to practice of reading the gospel at home. 32. Avoid exceeding the time of 30 minutes per person, except when needed. 33. Receive the attendees without preference, always in the place of designated for this function, that is the Spiritism group. 34. Keep the door of the assistant room open, allowing easy access and facilitating in the possible need of help. 35. Schedule the return of the assisted person if necessary, or leave to the person the option of doing it.
Yes, this is very important to hear this note that may we stay with the person for 30 minutes, especially in the first time when the person comes. They come and they bring so much to share with us. Many times they tell the whole story from the beginning to at the point that they are there. So it can take time. And of course, you cannot tell, hurry up, I have to see somebody else. Okay. The best of our ability, we listen to them. So they know that we are present there, assisting them, listen to them. They know that what we are doing is real. Is the work of brothers and sisters. At the first meeting, it usually take around 30 minutes or a little bit more. But then the following weeks, when the person comes, usually it's 6 times. So this person is no longer needed this length of time. And also what's happened many times due to some cases and kind of personality, some members prefer one of the others due to can be challenging some people. So always remind ourselves that we are there to serve. So no matter who comes, we have to have open heart and assisting all those who comes to sit down in our chairs, and we always be there for them. Christina, you'd like to read?
Sure. Let me see. I don't have the thing.
Is it
oh,
36?
okay, 36.
Yeah.
Seek the help of the meeting coordinator and other workers of the group when assisting more complex cases.
Mm.
Always try to bond the assisted person to Jesus, the superior spirit, and the gospel in order to avoid creating a personal dependence.
Mm.
Orient the assisted person with regards to the different activities of the spirit society and the disciplinary rules that direct the work. Pay attention to the information contained in the attendee's file and fill it up correctly. Close the work with a prayer of gratitude and to disconnect yourself from the problems brought by the attendees. You meaning by yourself in the group, or you do with them?
Can you say, what is your question, Chris?
The prayer we do with them or with ourselves with the group?
We're going to do at 15 minutes before everything starts. We have we have a prayer at this moment. Just us from the group, right?
Okay.
We read the gospel, we study, and so we prepare ourselves for this service. Then when the people start to arrive, as they start to arrive, we need to be ready to each one of us to serve each person who shows up.
No. It says here about the closing. Number 4 is to close. So
To
the
close,
prayer.
yeah,
is
the closing. The close, it's all of us together in
Okay.
a group.
Okay, I got it.
Okay.
Okay.
No. What I think she's saying about like disconnect yourself from the problems brought by the attendees. That means like you don't carry home all that heavy energy, all that problem.
No.
Find your way. Is that?
No, I'm talking about the prayer. Close the work.
Mhm.
Close the work with a prayer of gratitude.
Yes.
The close, like I finished with the attendee. So the prayer of gratitude is to do with them or with the group after closing the work.
The closing of the work we do together. All
Prayer
the
of gratitude.
attendees, remember the table that we had in the Spirit Center? So the person go to the magnetic, and then they go back to outside to wait, correct?
True.
So
True.
we have each one of them had be assisted. Then we invited them to come back to the center. We do a prayer for Joana de Angelo, Emmanuel, and then we do a final prayer and magnetize the water. So this spirit, they go home with some words of the spirits, high order spirit. And also it's important for us to be grateful to be able to serve, and as well to ask the good spirits to help us to let go everything in the center so we can come home light and free from all the subject that we have
Okay, but I'm still confused.
working with. Okay,
I'm still confused. This prayer of gratitude, am I going to do this with the person that I see, or with you and Chris and Michael?
With us, with the members, with the group. We'll be all together in a group.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Towards
what I
the
want.
end, we thank you, God, for the opportunity to serve.
Okay. Thank
All
you.
right?
Okay.
Yeah.
With the group. Okay, got it.
With the group, yes.
Okay, thank you.
The listening of the counselor. Psychology and mainly psychoanalysis offer science or more precise word to dominate the acts, knowing to hear. Others, that is listening. Freud, when tracing the basic rules that guided the psychoanalytical technique, formulated the concept of floating listening that would be in synthesis to create conditions so that communication from unconscious to unconscious may be established, where the therapist symbolically becomes blind to see better, to listen without select the material received and without judgment. So when we are listen to the person, we just listen, we detach from the problem. We listen with our heart, but we are not attached. We're not being attached to the situation. We do not judging them, no criticize them. We just listen with our conscience and let it be. In other words, we do not rationalize what the person says, because if you do rationalize, you have the tendencies to want to criticize, because at the moment might someone tells us something very disturbing, and this person is very in front of us. If we listen with our conscience and rationalize, we are there ready to resolve the problem and ready to fix the problem and ready to judge like we are better, like we know best. No, we are there to listen, to be present, to be quiet, and that is the moment to use our unconscious. Let the unconscious be used at this moment. We just be there present and listen. No judgments, no criticism, not tell the person what to do, not resolve the person's behavior. Just be there floating. Imagine a boat in the water, just lightly floating on it.
Oh my God.
This,
I don't think I can do this.
That's very important acknowledgement. You feel that you can do all the workers. You can be the one who receives the person. You ask the person to fill out up the paperwork. You can guide the person to who should see that person. You kind of like quote unquote interview the person and a little bit get the name, the address, and some information, because you do have a form to be filled up prior this person being assisted. You can be the one who does that.
Okay, good.
All right. So it's a work for everybody. That's the beauty of the Spirit Center.
Sure.
This Freudian teaching being paraphrased represent perfectly well the knowing to listen, or the know how to listen of the counselor. As the counselor disconnected from one's personal experiences, one becomes open to love one's neighbor, and you better establish a communication from perispirit to perispirit. Thus, understand the real needs of those who seek for the fraternal counseling at the Spirit Center. Always remember ourselves that you're not therapists, but you certainly can use the techniques to better serve. We're not tell them what to do, but you can listen with our heart and our soul. You can listen with our soul. So the pure sentiment of love can emanate from us to the needed or the assisted. The listening transcends and physiological concept. It is not restricted to the cold communication between two beings. It's trying to understand the other, not only through the said words, but also in the expression of the feeling that are quite often hidden in the space between the lines. So you can exercise it be in silence. We can start to exercise being silent for few minutes and listen someone talking, whether is in the line at the postal office. We can exercise when we are at the bank doing some service, or in the line and register from supermarkets. So we can exercise, listen to people's stories, or where they are while they are on the phone and talking. We listen with our soul. We're not judging this person, but also be discreet and not let they know that we are doing it, so we can practice how to listen without interfering with our suggestions. We cannot, especially in fraternal counseling, we never can give a suggestion. The only suggestion that we can give is recommend the person to be closer to God, and Jesus Christ at this moment is the only one who help them. It may they connect, they may feel the presence of God, and whatever problem they go through will become more manageable. Those who seek for fraternal counseling, as a rule, have lost the voices due to the many cries of a request for assistance. One's voice becomes lost in the whirlwind of useless explanations, of the advice of the false prophets. In the therapeutic pharmacology that only treats the matter, in the hope instigated by the sellers of miracles, among others. So we must remind ourselves many times those who come to see us, they are in profound disarray and desperate, because many times no one wanted to hear them no more. They feel that what they feeling at this moment, no one's care. So it's important for us to validate what they say, but not with words, but with our body language, with our true presence. Be there and be in front of the person with all our body and soul. So in body language, we can validate how this person is feeling. Would you like to read? Chris, right, Chris?
We're on the last paragraph, right? Yeah.
25th. 25th,
20
right here.
Oh, okay. Okay. The listening of, can you hear me okay?
Yes,
Okay,
perfectly.
okay. The listening of the counselor. Okay, the counselor, when listening, has the duty. Duty is the correct word because the task represents an obligation on the part of those who talk to the brothers and sisters in need. Duty to be humble and charitable, to forget about one's own problems, even if they seem to be more difficult than those presented by the attendee. One has to suffocate the pains and discouragements. It's a strong word, suffocate. The counselor should not judge the people who tell their misfortunes. One should never assume an air of superiority or to raise false expectations. I might say, instead of suffocate, I might say bracket, put on the shelf, set aside.
Yeah.
I don't want to stuff my emotions. That'll just lead to midnight
Put
snacks.
it aside for a moment.
That'll lead to midnight snacking and uncontrollable weight gain.
Yeah, it's just at the moment. It's
Yeah,
just at the moment that we are serving. We put ourselves aside, because if you're thinking about our problems, many times we remind ourselves at the moment we're being volunteers.
Yeah.
And many times we can have problems much more worse than the ones who's being assisted.
Yeah,
But,
yeah. I mean,
right?
but you can't always, most of us can't always set aside our problems, depending on how great. Sometimes it's just like we're human beings. And
Yeah.
I would think that in those cases, we probably shouldn't be doing the assistance. We should probably be seeking assistance. Is that we should be getting help if we really.
Sometimes, we as a member, as a practitioner of the center, we always remind ourselves that we are not perfect beings. So we kind of have challenges, whether it's being sick or have some challenge at work that day, but we have found already a great self-control, and we decided to put other first for that day or for that moment. It's not that we're dismissing our problem. At the moment we make a clear commitment to ourselves and to God, say, at this moment, I know I have this problem at home. I know I have this problem at working, but I'm going to put aside and I'm going to dedicate myself to the ones in need more than I do. So in other words, the person who you come, we probably are in desperate situation, but despite how we feel, how our problem is, not that means it's less important than the other person, but we already have a self-control. We already understand the teachings of God. We are not disturbed by our own problems. So we do not need to ruminating all the times our problem in our conscience. We are ready to assist other, whatever problem we have, we say, it's okay, I'm gonna put it here, that's my time to give attention to this person. An example, I suffer from migraine and rheumatoid arthritis. Those are the problems that's every day in my life. But doesn't mean I'm not in condition to assist someone in need. I can put my situation aside, my chronic pain aside, and say, that is the moment for me to assist the ones in need now. It's okay. I'm comfortable with my situation. I accept it. So the fact that this moment I'm dedicated to someone else, it's not that I'm forgetting about me. It's just my problem becomes such a part of my life that it does not disturb me anymore, so I can help others. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not talking about someone just got a divorce today and then had to go there and be a practitioner. We know that's not possible.
Okay.
That is not possible. That's to have a big fight with your daughter, and there was very detrimental fighting.
Yeah, if you're really out of sorts, yeah.
So we can't do that day. We can do. It's more chronic thing that we had already found the way to live with. Because we are human, we always have something.
Don't we? Isn't that terrible that there's always like there's always a problem. It's a blessed day when there's not a problem to worry about.
Yes.
And
yes, Elaine.
And if there isn't one, I'll invent one, just to have something to worry about.
Yes, Alessandra.
I just, as you saying, happened before, like in the other spiritual center, like we're giving passes to, but there was days that you feel like I can give, I need to receive today. I am not in conditions today, physically or in health. I'm not feeling well today. Yes. And I'm feeling sick or something, or something is unbalanced. How can I give? And I'm not giving, but how can I be this, at service, and it was okay to say, today I'm going to step out.
Yes, absolutely. always remind ourselves that we are doing our best, but a moment that even doing our best, you can't do it, right? Like Christina just said, it was very humbling from her, say, I can't not do it. And we need to be honest with ourselves. It's better to be honest to say, I cannot do, you then do it instead to help the person make the situation even worse.
Yeah,
So
I want to bring results and solutions. I'm too rational. So if you give me a problem, I want to fix it. So as you say, all they
Well, I
want is
might need your help then, Christine.
yeah, I am a fixer. So
Okay,
I'm too
now I know where to go
practical.
for those solutions.
Yeah, so yeah, I find a solution if I have a problem. But it looks like on the subject in writing here, they wanna just say you should just be sympathetic, and I have no sympathy. I am a result make. That's it. I want a solution, and I do it now. So they won't like me. I'm practical, too practical.
Yeah, so as we see, but it was good that you know that, because then you not harm anyone with words, right? So
Yeah.
it's
No, I
very
will
good.
not harm.
Ignore yourself.
I want to make a solution. I will not
Yeah.
harm. I'm going to give them 1,500 ways to fix it. And that's
But
the problem.
many times the person who is in a, many times no, the person who has to find the solution for their own problems. We are just there to assist them, to be the brother and sister, to provide for them a safe net, a safe place that they can come and feel belong and feel good, that still have good people in the world.
And feel heard.
It's still heard.
I have spent
Exactly.
a lot of time, even in like counseling and therapy, where I feel like the person might be distracted, and they could be because they're at certain times, but to be heard and understood is very healing. Very
Yes.
healing, because I don't know how other people are, but I know that people have not heard the
Yes.
things I've experienced. So the I was actually sick and bleeding to death, and my own family ignored that, except for
Mhm.
my father, who's now deceased. But it's unvalidating, and it's demoralizing in some ways. It's very hard to feel good about yourself when your own family won't hear your 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 need. It
Mhm.
can be simple just as much as you giving your complete presence, and I don't get the complete presence of most of the people in my family. So I've
Mhm.
kind of like turned away right now to heal myself,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah. And many times when we go places like that, we don't expect anybody to solve our problem. We just want it to be heard. We just
Well,
want,
I want to add, because we're talking about this topic, and I'm kind of like, don't want to curse the thing. I get scared sometimes. But yesterday, when you and I did that prayer, I am more like Christina. I want to solve the problem. Okay. But I also have a lot of your ways too, like, okay, calm down, listen, meditate. There is a spiritual a poke at me. So I mostly go, but we're not doing anything. A prayer is not enough. A prayer is not enough. That is because I have prayed, and I've been through a lot, and things don't get better through prayers. And so I turn away to that. And when that was what you were offering, I'm like, but I need more. So I'm more like her. However, for Christine's benefit, she needs to hear this, because you said that you wanted the spiritual world to offer the guidance, correct? Something on those terms? Okay, now
yes,
listen to this
absolutely.
story. Overnight, Dulcie, it gives me the chills. Overnight, because I was finally receptive to it. Normally I'm like, ugh, I'm not very I'm not as spiritual as I should be, I guess. Um, Overnight, and I'm keeps looking, my fingers crossed, but something opened up today that I cannot believe. we were looking for my friend's places. And what was the big problem? What was the biggest problem? Do you remember? I'm not
Yeah.
holding you to. What was the
Yeah.
problem?
The problem that she couldn't find the place due to the hair score.
Yes.
She didn't have a
Yes.
credit.
Dulcie, I have to send this to you if I can. It said, I reached out to the person who's responsible for this place that I found years ago that I originally wanted her and Rob to go to, two people before the pandemic. This was a place I said, you have to live here. You have to live here, right? Then I kind of like, well, maybe, look, I tried to look for just recently because the guy is really fair. He has fair prices, but it gets even weirder. So there's just one little cross that I have to cross right now, but I have to let you know this just from a prayer. So I opened up to it. And I didn't have to be like, I need your help. I need your actual help. So I said, all right, let me just open to this because I'm doing so much meditation. So the bottom line was, when I asked her, what is the criteria? She wrote no background check, which is a little creepy in a way, and no credit score. And I said, did I just read this properly? And then I said, so no credit score? And she goes, no credit score. He doesn't believe in it. I was like, oh my God, that happened immediately. Immediately after us praying last night. So I'm like Christina, though. I do like, let's get hands on. And I finally let my guard down and said, all right, I'm just going to give this, its space. Let's see what happens. And I don't know what's going to happen because the one thing now is in the town of Babylon, if a person has a legal disability years ago, I have to find out if it's still true. They would allow somebody, it's a 55 and older, and she's 45. So when I went into a place for 55 and older, I was 41, and it was in the town of Babylon. So I have to go confirm that. But I also feel like if I do confirm that, he's so reasonable that it's going to be fine. But it's just, the point is, we were talking about the credit score, and that those were the words the next day. I mean, unheard of else. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that when I moved, I was in a very similar predicament as my friend. One place is shutting down, the other one is opening up, and I felt by the grace of God. And she's scared. And I said, well, I was too. I said, but it all worked out. I don't know, like by the grace of God, it was like so divine. And I'm just sitting here going, is this going to happen? Is this going to, because like I am putting my heart and soul into helping this person. You know that.
Yes.
I am like really putting my heart and soul. Cannot let this person fail. So,
Yes.
and I'm like Christina, I'm not going to stop. Okay. So I feel like it's a combination of the two, though. I feel like you really need both, because this world is really pushing against. So I had to keep looking, keep looking, but through a meditative way. And then boom, it popped up and I was like, is this happening? So it's not finished yet. So I'm probably getting a little more of those prayers and a little more activity, but I feel like it's a nice balance,
Excellent.
Yeah.
And the reason the fraternal assistance and so important for us to have at the center, of course, that we'll be there, listen to the person, but always remind ourselves, we are just the instrument for the spirit realm. The spirit realm is the one who actually orchestrate the whole working.
Yeah, it's giving me chills.
Right?
It's giving me chills because that's how I got the first place, through divine. And I said it. I actually said it. It didn't make any sense any other way.
Yes.
Like one place was kicking me out, the other place opened up immediately, like it was a Section 8, and I had to wait 3 years for that. So it was like one place closed, the other place opened, and I feel like this could be happening again. Like almost to tap me on the shoulder, like maybe Dulcie has a point. But it's scary. It's a scary thing to have faith. It's very scary because there's you feel so much pain in life, and then you start to doubt everything.
Yeah, so that's why when the person come in and it has been assisted at the center, actually the mentor of this person, the guiding angels are there. So by the time this person actually comes to the center, this person has been helped by the spirit realm. So
like pushing them, nudging them.
Yeah, so they listen to them. So when they actually say something with so much sincerity in their heart, in their soul, the spirit world does work in benefit of them. And if they listen to the plea of this individual, they actually do something about it. So I
Overnight though, Dels, overnight.
yes, it
It happens. You can
according
really
to
focus
needs.
and you pray with your soul and you're feeling you like you put your mind and your heart in the same and you're breathing together. That's inevitable. That's the mastered fate. Like
Yeah,
you can move mountains. That's what you're
that you
supposed
really
to be
can.
doing. Yes, that's
So,
how it works.
so
And it works fast. Yes.
it's
It was
very,
fast.
very important to have a. So that's why when we are talking to them, we kindly suggest to
Yeah,
to connect themselves more with God. Actually, at the moment, we can even pray together when someone
right.
is in so much desperation. We can right there at the moment hold this person's hands and pray over this person while this person is crying, for example. And sometimes you can pray just in your head while you hold this person's hand. So the spirit realm will assist this person because the spirits know how much sincerity are there between these two beings sitting down and try to console each other's, because even though we think we are consoling someone, we are learning from the pain, perhaps even prevents our own by assisting someone else in difficult times.
Right. Well, I'm learning a lot about these programs and like how to help somebody. Like, like I'm learning a
Mhm.
lot.
Yes.
So, it's kind of a good skill and a good tool in a world where housing is such a problem. Oh, she
Exactly.
just, you know what? She just sent me the attachments. The realtor. I asked her to
Mhm.
send me because I said she really wants this. She really, and it's going to be in July. So she just sent me the attachments for the pictures for the place and the application.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's always trust in God and believe it
Yeah.
because
I'm like tearing because just like, wow.
that's beautiful.
Overnight dolls. I mean, everybody's shutting the door, like, when Jesus, Mary was trying to find a place to give birth, shutting the door, shutting, just like, oh my goodness, and then we did
Yeah.
that. And it was that's what we needed I mean, the words, I got to send it to you. The words say no credit score. And I'm like, what? Nobody says that, like they just assume it, but to see it in writing, she's
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, he's not like that. I had met him years ago. He is such a beautiful soul. Such a beautiful soul. I said, how come your place is so much cheaper than other places? He goes, oh, I don't believe in doing that to people. He comes, I
Oh,
think, from another country. It might be Italy or something. I have to find out. He's a sweet, sweet person. He's not American. you know, you know what I mean? Like the Americanized go for the throat. And earlier today, just so that you guys know, just before that, I made that connection. The earlier connection was crazy. So I get a hold of a person and I found a place that was near where I used to live. And I said, oh, this would be great. And I said, well, we're worried about the credit score. And he goes, well, we might be able to do that with the complexes. And he goes, but you have to give me $20 and we have to run your credit. And I go, before I'll show you the place. I go, is that legal? And he goes, yeah. And I go, yeah, well, let me think about that. Because I started laughing. That's crazy. You're just trying to take even more money out of people before they
yeah.
even see the apartment. So then I was like, I laughed instead of getting angry. I just laughed saying, that's ridiculous. We don't have to. And then Carrie got upset. I said, no, we don't have to go that route. Nobody else is that crazy. And then this opened up. So I didn't get
That's very
angry.
always
I kept
is
myself
a.
composed and had faith.
Mhm. We must have a faith. So
Yeah.
the counselors are the instrument of the service of the spirit friends. Therefore, do not speak empty or vain words, but rather words that comfort and assist. Finally, let the attendees understand his or her situation before the Christ, and that solutions are always with oneself. Let me see. I don't know, the inner transformation associated with faith will be perseverance. Always remind ourselves all the situations that we have, all the challenges that we have, all the problems that we have, no matter how we do like to label. The only one who has the answer will be is just ourselves, ourselves who is able to answer for the situation that they are in. That's why Freudian always recommend the psychoanalysis, because Freud believed the answers of our own situation is inside of ourselves. We just need to know how to reach and how to get there. And together as a brothers and sisters, we certainly will. Chris, would you like to read this one?
Chris or Christina?
Chris.
Chris, where are you? Come back.
Okay, I'm here. I'm here. I just wasn't sure which Chris. To listen is to shorten the way between the ear and the heart. In the words of Andre Louise in the book Opinião Espírita, many are those who walk disoriented due to the lack of tolerance. However, it is important to emphasize that they're not lacking words. What they lack is the silence of a friendly heart, with sufficient love to envelop their soul in the balsam of understanding. It is for this reason that they have no strength to struggle like a sputtering engine without oil.
All right. This is the recommendation of André Luiz. In here is the books that was done, the Fraternal Assistance class, the Gospel According to Spiritism, the Spirit's book, the Medium's book, the Green Light from André Luiz. So all this material comes from those books. I think we still have a time to go to the other one. Let me see.
Yes, we do.
Just a
17.
second. Can you guys see case study?
Yes.
All right, excellent. So now we're going to see some case studies, something similar that can appear in our Fraternal Assistance. It's just an example. So we can have the discussion right now and we see how do we feel in this regarding, okay? Let's go there. It is important to bear in mind during the Fraternal Assistance, one of its guidelines. It is not up to us to induce or take any decision that should be the responsibility of the person assisted. We have to respect the free will of each individual, which is crucial in the process of evolution. We should offer the Spiritist teaching in order to clarify the misconception, thus offering alternative reflection that will help in the choice, individual and not transferable. So we should never, never, never tell people what to do. And here, that's how it should be done. We should divide a small group, and each group should come up with the answers how the case should be resolved. But of course, you cannot do that we'll do it ourselves as a group. Case 3, pressentimento, João Neves da Rocha. So we're going to discuss the situation, description. She was married, her husband became paraplegic, and she had 5 children to raise. She was now facing a serious health problem. She had ovarian cancer, and in the last test, metastasis was detected. So the cancer was in the entire body. She was desperate, foreseeing the possibility of dying, leaving her loved ones in economical difficulty. In addition to aggravate her anxiety, she was living a moment of great sorrow and bitterness. For the next day, she would be undergoing surgery, and she had a presentiment that she would not survive the surgery. So we are at the center, right? It's a fraternal assistance. Then someone comes and says, well, the person says that she or he has cancer. In this case, is a she. She has cancer, and her husband is a handicap, and she has 5 children. So, and she is in the impasse. She doesn't know what to do if she would tell her husband, let's go imagine that is the situation, or if she doesn't say at all anything in regard to her cancer and let it go. But she did share that she had a surgery next day, but she doesn't telling them the severity of the situation. So imagine that this person came and we are assisting this person. So let's brainstorm here. How should we dealing with this situation?
Can I would ask her, I would pray with her a prayer for the suffering spirits who ask for prayers. So for the kids, so I will open the gospel and go to the prayer 65 or 66 and do it with her.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I will do before anything else she tells me. And then I'll let her talk again. And then I will ask for, I would anticipate and ask for the prayer to give thanks for receiving a favor. I already say thank you. I will believe so hard in my prayer. And I'm going to go to prayer number 25, saying the beloved God of infinite that I am attended. I would say thank you for the gift of the answer.
Okay.
That's what I'll do.
Okay, but Christine, so let me see if I understood you. You do the prayer before this person talking to you, or
No, after.
after the person talk to you, you do the prayer?
When she's done, when she waits for me to talk.
Okay.
My answer will be the prayer. I said, let's do this prayer before I say anything else.
Okay. First, you cannot say nothing. Nada.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
You cannot say anything, but you can recommend the gospel and the evangelical prayers. Absolutely. In the best way.
I cannot pray with her. I cannot pray with her.
Yes, you can pray for her.
With her.
Yeah,
with her.
Yes,
that's what I'm saying. I'll pray with her. Is that okay?
Right? So after the person discussion and tell their story, that would be a good way of helping this person to say, I'm sorry to hear all this. It's always important for us to express our sincere feeling, meaning I'm sorry, because we're not going to be there like a robot, like robot, and just don't have any feeling. It's important to be sympathetic. So that should be one way how Christine would respond. Is any other person would have other way to share? Yes, Alessandra.
I agree. Like we start with like asking for guidance and to listen. And I think one of the ways would be after like whatever she wants to talk about will be listen. And I think one of the first step will be like rephrasing what she is going through so she can get that feeling first that she was heard. Whatever she sharing and saying, that is, in her heart in that moment, I think the first step, in my opinion, would be, before I say anything, is let's rephrase what she was saying, and in a way, because as she's listening to me, like saying things that she was saying, I'm telling without saying anything, because I'm repeating her words, that I am listening to you. I think this will be the beginning.
You
Oh,
just win the position. You're the best for that.
And I'll leave the other people to keep going from that. I'm not gonna.
You just win. You are the number one, dedicated. Please be there Wednesday at 6 o'clock. We need you.
Okay, we had I had one moment that I was listening to someone, and that person was such in desperation that she started talking naturally. Then she started screaming, crying with so much sorrow, because her pain was so intense. And she had waiting for so long to find someone to talk. So when she was able to actually be heard, she, instead to actually talk, she cried. She just spoke very little. This person at the time was being abused from her husband, and she was pregnant. So she was in a very, very difficult challenge, and she couldn't express it. She couldn't say it. So she cried and cried and cried for a long, long time. And amazingly, at the moment, this beautiful song, beautiful music from violin comes around, and this person cried even more. And after that cry, she found a solution for her situation. And many months later, she wrote me a letter, and she said that her husband and what she had changed. Her husband was a different person, and they had the child, and they were doing very well. So always remind ourselves that sometimes the person not even be able to talk. The only thing that we can do in a moment, it's praying, so this person be assisted in the spirit realm. That's one thing that I want to say here. So it would be great when the person be able to verbalize, but many times this can happen too, and we need to be aware of it.
Which prayer would you do if she does stop crying? Which prayer would you do?
I don't use prayers from the book. I pray from the heart at the moment. And the main prayer that I will ask Jesus Christ, the Mother Mary, to assist her or he, to give this person. I'll do my best to do the freely prayer, so it will be, I feel that is more pure from my heart, instead of memorize or something that is already written. That's me personally.
Okay, that's fair.
So any other suggestion how other member would feel in this situation?
Wow.
Here another case. Okay. we don't have time to go through all the cases because we have 4 more cases. Here, case 6. Induced to abortion. This is a child, she's 13 years old, she's pregnant, she's very poor, and considering to do abortion. Law of socioeconomic studies, and without any knowledge of the Spiritism, her boyfriend and her family wanted the abortion and pressured her to agree. Her parents threatened her, say that if she refused the abortion, they would not help her and will expel her from home. So you can imagine someone at 13 years old, pregnant, and probably do not want to do abortion, even though this person do not have the understanding of Spiritism, but she feels she not desire to do it, but her boyfriend do, and also her family. And her family even threaten her, if you don't do the abortion, you'll be expelled from the house. You no longer live in this house. So how, is anybody would like to share the thoughts in this regard?
I'm not seeing
Well,
anything.
the first thing in this case is that I would call Child Protective Services.
Yeah, she's a minor.
She's a
Yeah.
minor. There's clearly, this is a profoundly illegal child sexual abuse going on here.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're thinking the same way.
But what if the
Yeah.
boyfriend is a minor too?
Depending on the age, it kind of doesn't, it's still child sexual abuse, even if the boyfriend's a minor.
This
It
isn't
is?
something where we
Yeah.
can give.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because she's a child,
Yeah.
So if the boyfriend is the same age, he still is?
Well, he won't get in trouble, I don't think.
Oh, he'll get in trouble. Yeah.
He'll get in trouble, but
Yeah. Yeah.
He
how
will?
so?
But-
Yeah. I mean, I know of cases where the
What's
age.
important here, if the person will get in
Yeah.
trouble or not?
Well,
that
the
is-
point is, you don't have to know the law. The
you don't
law
have
in
to
this
know
case,
the law, but the right
law in
thing
this case,
is
though,
to call
but if
child
let me just
protective.
step, we have to understand that if we're in a position of giving
Yeah.
this kind of care, that if we see this is an almost mandated reporter situation.
Yes,
So,
it is a
yeah,
mandated
yeah,
report
yeah.
because
Right.
this person can be on the street. The
Yeah.
mother say, if you don't do the abortion,
Yeah.
you go on the street. So you can imagine 13 years old, pregnant.
yeah, you have to call Child Protective
We have to
Services.
call the child
It's a
protector.
minor.
It's a minor. So
yeah.
we needed to understand it. When a situation like that and suicide, we must, because if you don't, we are
Right.
reliable.
Right.
That's right.
Very good. I think it's the last case. It is blocked, but want to help. I'm going through a very difficult problems, but I wouldn't like to report them. They are very personal. I do not know why I come here. I was never very religious. I will still receive some kind of help.
But they're not telling us the problem?
Now,
Shoot, let's pray.
Yeah. It sounds like prayer.
that's prayer, right?
Right.
The
Yeah.
person's not telling us, the person telling it's very serious what it is.
Between them and
And,
God, apparently.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're even saying that, you know.
they just
So
need
I
help.
think at this person, I have to buy the gospel book and I'll give it to her and show her where the prayers are. Because
Excellent.
she has
Okay.
to walk back home with the book. So let's stock lots of books, the gospel in the house over there, and let's start hand it to them. Let's start hand it to them because this is a
Yeah.
FBI situation here.
You know, I feel like if she doesn't want to talk about the problem because she doesn't feel safe yet
Yes.
in the place. So, and I think making her feel that she is not alone and the doors are open, and whenever, and she does, and also let her know that she doesn't need to tell if she doesn't want to.
Yes.
And whenever she's ready we'll be ready for her. And there's nothing exchange. When she's free to come, speak or not, and she's gonna have the assistant.
Now she has to leave with the book. Situation like this, they have to leave the book. They might not be able to leave the house. They need to live with the book. Give the book
Yeah.
to her.
You can't, yeah, you can always assume literacy though, you know.
Christine,
But so the one thing I would say about this particular reporting situation, how they're reporting or describing the issues, when someone is reticent to go into any kind of detail, there's often some kind of shame attached to the problem. And so the prayers that as we pray, we really need to affirm that where they, how should I say it, where they go, God goes with them into the problem, and that that what people see with them, you know, with what people see when they walk, when they enter a room, is the divine presence with them, and
Or not.
huh? No,
Or not. It could be not the divine. It could be the opposite.
no. I'm trying to affirm the highest possible thing, that the source of love and acceptance is that there's, I wouldn't assume that they're feeling shame, but I might make it known that God sees them. And I know they're not religious here, but they're coming to a religious, you know, stepping into a religious space, into an environment where we're talking about God. So I would definitely pray in a way to make them aware that God's presence goes with them everywhere, and they need not be ashamed of anything.
Yeah. So would you pray with them or in silence?
No, I pray with them. Yeah.
Another thing important to hear, that we many times this is also happened, even when the person, for whatever reason, do not want to tell their story, depend of the situation, the spirits many times telling us.
Yeah, the spirits will tell us. Yeah, absolutely.
In order
yeah,
for us to best assist this person. That's why we should not put in Portuguese we say you cannot put the car in front of the cow, you know.
Yeah.
So we need to be patient, we need to be tolerant, always remind, like in the beginning, we put the zipper in our mouth, we don't say anything, and many times, even though your idea, Christina, it's really wonderful to give the book to the person, but many times the person is such in desperation that's only they don't want to not to do for reading. We need to be sensible enough to know what's the time it's ready for. Many times when the people comes to see us, they wanted the problem to be resolved, and if possible, if it's a pill that dissolving all the problems. So we have to remind ourselves that it's not such thing. Whatever needs to be dealt, needs to be done. It's slowly, it's all up themselves.
And but the idea would be inviting them to come at least a certain number of times. But now what if they cannot come back to the studies? That would be have the passes, have the studies, and the self-transformation. But what if it is not the case?
But Christina, this person who are part of the Fraternal Assistance, we have a form which this person committed to come 6 times. And we hope to see this person 6 times. And then through the 6th time that this person comes, she or he will be willing to talk or not. By the 6th time, usually the people already are able to talk. This person receives tons of treatment. They will receive the specific passes that is done with 3 mediums, you know, with them, which is done in a table, the table passes. It's few mediums around, is the spirits protect around. So at this moment, for the 6th week, this person will be assisted at all times according to the dedication of the ones. Always remind ourselves we can just offer the remedy, but you cannot make the person drink the remedy. When I say is, we offer our tools. Our remedy is our tools, our prayer, our passes, water magnetizers, but it's up to the person to commit to the service in order to get better. So we do everything that we can. So now is 9:05 and is the last slide. And thank you so much for the collaboration of everyone. This is this case, our case that did happen in the Rio Spirit Center, so was taken from other people examples. So we need to be aware that many different cases can happen to us. So if you have the possibility, come direct to me through the beautiful path of a prayer. But if you are overloaded to the point of not finding the emotional path to prayer, seek the assistance of a brother or sister, and through them, I will help you. So, like Jesus says in here, many times our brothers and sisters are not able to do the prayers, are not able to do the reading the book themselves. They will come to us. So we be the one that Jesus allowing us to serve in his name.
Like yesterday when you were helping me.
Help, yeah, not me,
Yeah.
the spirits
Well,
did.
assisting.
Yeah, so Alessandra, could you please do the prayer tonight as you are at the center?
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Can
For
everybody hear
everyone.
me well?
Yes.
Okay. So I am inviting everyone to close your eyes and take a deep breath in. Find yourself comfortable where you're sitting. Elevate your thoughts to the higher, to God, and let's bring all our thoughts together to the spiritual center as we are all now connected and together. I can visualize that we have is more than us. We have much more spirits, and not just as incarnated, but also the disincarnated spirits that come and to have been assisting us through our study tonight. I would like to thank our mentor, the mentor of this house. Thank you for allowing us to be learning, to be together, sharing the same thoughts and energy, for all the inspirations that is coming to us and preparing us, because we don't know when the situation will appear to us, not just in the spiritual center, but at work or at home or with somebody, that we will need this knowledge and we'll have this to carry with us to help our brothers and sisters in need. Allow us to be at service. Maybe the service will be mentally or through our prayers, through our presence, or who knows, right? But I would like to thank you for this house, for every single one that with their thoughts tonight and energy add and contribute to this study tonight. I hope I'm wishing everyone a safe time home. Be safe, breathe well, and have a wonderful night to sleep. I want to thank you for all the spirituality who have been assisting us, for this house that is open the door and giving us the opportunity to learn, to grow, and to evolve spiritually. So be it.
So be it.
So be it.
Thank you.
Thank you, God. And thank you, my friends, for this moment. May God be with us at all time, and Master Jesus as well.
So be it.
So be it. Okay. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. Thank you so much. Beautiful night of work. Thank you.